Do you have dark circles under your eyes, unexplainable pain, you're overly anxious, you have difficulty sleeping, or excessively tired and can't get moving? According to Dr. Aviva Romm, in the article Reset Your Stress Response, these symptoms are probably associated with a condition called elastic load, or a state of chronic stress. Normally, short-term stress is good for us, so we can stay alert and be energized and tolerate injury, but staying in that state for a prolonged time causes physical harm to both our minds and our bodies. Dr. Romm gives us 3 ways of handling stress. 1 is to rest and digest. 2nd is to tend and befriend. And 3rd is to excite and delight. In rest and digest, our goal is to press the pause button so we can replenish our body. We can do that with things like taking a nap, massage, a hot bath, deep breathing, or meditation. Prayer has been a tool in Jewish practice since biblical times. It is a time to pause from the daily race, appreciate the good in our lives, beginning with the fact that we woke up and we are alive, and realize that there's a higher energy that controls everything. Through connecting to ourselves and our Creator, the feeling of trust can be ignited, which reduces worry. In King David's Psalm, it says, "God is close to all who call out to Him." Who is better than us to take care of the most troubling situations, if not the master of it all? This pandemic brought on such a frenzy over staying alive that we are beginning to feel gratitude over the plenty we used to take for granted. Dr. Romm also recommends creating a nightly routine by eating 3 hours before bedtime so your body can finish active digestion and use those nutrients for rest and repair during your sleep. Also, turn off your devices at least an hour before bedtime to avoid upsetting messages and limit the screen's light that signals the pineal gland that it's time to wake up. The second step given to help reduce stress is reaching out for support. There's a physiological reason that it feels good to call a friend. According to UCLA's researcher Shelley Tyler, oxytocin triggers us to bond with others so we can calm down and feel safe. Lastly, in stressful situations, we can use the cortisol and adrenaline to learn from the events happening. As a learner, use what's happening as a lesson, not as a punishment. Ask questions like, what's really going on here? What am I not seeing? Instead of blaming others or yourself, see that life is happening for you and not to you. There's a story of a young boy who lost his mother at 8 years of age. He became his father's favorite, thus igniting jealousy in his brothers. They initially wanted to kill him, but they changed their mind and sold him as a slave. He was then approached by his owner's wife, who he rejected. In turn, she accused him of sexual assault. He was then imprisoned. He was, would you have guessed, Joseph, one of my favorite characters in the Bible. He ended up being second in command in the most powerful country in biblical times, Egypt. He had all the reasons to be angry, bitter, and depressed. However, he used a learner's mindset and questioned the events. He had so much trust in God that he saw that all of his hardships were there to bring him to the highest level possible, and other people were just instruments in bringing him there. When he saw his brothers, he was emotional, but he did not show it to them. Rather, he used his cleverness to test our character. Once he saw that they were sincere and that they were repented for what they've done, he trusted them, and he even helped them. A more of a recent story of using a learner's mindset was of a married couple who struggles with marital harmony. Their last argument left them distant from each other for about 2 weeks. It was a cold and stressful time in the household. The wife decided to meditate in order to calm herself. During her meditation, she realized that they haven't argued for a 9-month period. She decided to accept that they do argue and decided to be grateful for the times that were blissful and focused on that. Remarkably, the next day, the couple began to behave warmly towards each other. They were able to begin speaking again. All it took was changing the focus on what was missing and focus on what good they had. At this point, they were able to discuss by asking questions like, "What do you hear when I say?" or do that. They discovered that they interpret each other's words and actions differently than it was intended. Although some relationships are repairable and others are not, we can take steps to reduce our stress responses to what is happening by resting, eating correctly, reaching out for support, and learn from the triggers of the stress in our lives. May we live our lives in a mindful way so we will be more productive in our personal lives and in our society. Best wishes from me to you, Mazal.